Welcome back to Race Day, everybody. The stars are out in Texas, not just veterans, but also some young ones.
Yeah, one of the guys I'm watching starting in the top 10. How about Jesse Little? They're back.
Yeah, and I like Harrison Burton. His first mile-and-a-half track, and he's in a KBM truck. This young man can drive, and it's going to be fun to watch him tonight.
Got to watch the entire field tonight, but right now, let's send you down trackside and watch the opening ceremonies for tonight's Camping World Truck Series race.
Coming up next at No Limits, Texas.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as the Euless and Grapevine Police Department Combined Honor Guards present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Brett Schisler with Texas Alliance Raceway Ministries offers tonight's invocation.
Would you please pray with me? Most loving and gracious God, we come to you tonight and we thank you. We thank you for this beautiful day, this beautiful evening, and this opportunity to come to you and pray as free people. We thank you for the men and women all over the world that help to keep us free. And we ask that you be with each and every one of them and keep them safe. Lord, we also come to you tonight and we ask for your safety for all of the drivers, all of the crews, all of the safety workers, and for our world. And Lord, we finally come to you tonight and we ask your guidance, your direction, your love, and your support for our nation. It is in the strong and beautiful name of your Son, Jesus Christ, we get the opportunity to pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome co-founder of Black Rifle Coffee, Jared Taylor.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
If you like your racing fast, you have come to the right place. Under the lights tonight in Texas, these trucks are going to be on fire and going fast. But right now, we're going to send you to the racetrack, to the guys making the call. Here's Vince Welch.
Thank you, John. The Lone Star State, it's the perfect place for a big race. This is Texas Motor Speedway. No limits on speed. Record qualifying today. Some of the fastest races in series history, and more of the same expected tonight. The familiar sheriff is Johnny Sauter. He rides into town after last week's win at Martinsville, clinching a spot in the Championship 4. And here at Texas, he's won the last two, and he's on pole tonight. Matt Crafton has been a boss here as well. His Texas two-step includes a pair of wins on the mile-and-a-half. But tonight he starts 14th, already 10 points below the playoff cut line. Meanwhile, Myatt Snyder hopes to squeeze his name onto the list of first-time winners at Texas. And after strong finishes in the last two races, his number might be 1 tonight. Another seeking his first career win is 18-year-old Todd Gilliland. It's been a season of highs and lows. He led the most laps here in the spring, but he'll have to start at the rear this evening. Much better situation for Brett Moffitt, however. Here's Hermie Sadler.
Well, Vince, Johnny Sauter dominated Martinsville. He's definitely the driver to beat as we head towards Homestead. But if somehow, some way, the 16 of Brett Moffitt is able to go to Homestead and hoist that championship trophy, they may very well look back to Martinsville as the race that gave them the momentum to do that. They qualified 17th, really had no reason why they didn't have the speed in qualifying. But look, he's 3 wide, left front fender damage, right front fender damage. He was stuck in traffic pretty much all day long. But towards the end of the race, they started making passes on the racetrack, some good work on pit road, and that team ended up leaving Martinsville with a second-place finish, and more importantly, 15 points to the good in the championship battle. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, Matt Crafton probably is hoping the weekend would have gone a little smoother than it has so far. The team ended up having to change a gear in practice, limiting their practice time. They were not able to make a mock run. So he went out for qualifying, ended up qualifying 14th. But talking with his crew chief, Junior Joyner, he tells me they plan to be very aggressive in terms of their strategy, hopefully collecting those stage points, improving his playoff position, and maybe getting Matt Crafton his 3rd win here at Texas Motor Speedway. Vince?
Well, and how big that would be tonight, Caitlin. Thank you very much. And welcome along with Michael Waltrip and Phil Parsons. I'm Vince Welch. Certainly a critical race in the hunt for a championship. Is it a window of opportunity, Mike, or just a small margin for error? How do we look at it this evening?
I think you look at it both ways, because if you see here the playoff standings, Johnny Sauter knows he's going to Miami, but there's no way to handicap which one of those other 2 guys will be left out of that championship battle. Look at Grant Enfinger. He's just 2 points to the good, and he's starting back in the 13th position. But for some good news for Grant is he won our last mile-and-a-half race out in Las Vegas, so he's got great speed on the big tracks. He should be able to charge the front and be a real factor tonight.
Yeah, but can anybody really beat Johnny Sauter, especially here?
Well, I think they can. As a matter of fact, I think Stuart Friesen may have had Johnny Sauter's number back here in June. A little miscue on his green flag pit stop, and that cost him the lead. There he is, chasing Johnny down. That's how close it was at the end of the race. But Johnny Sauter does not make many mistakes. As a matter of fact, let's look at his last 4 starts here at Texas Motor Speedway. 3 wins. You see that 8th place finish back in June of last year. A bad pit stop after leading 49 laps probably cost him maybe 4 for 4. So Johnny Sauter is trying to go 3 in a row here at Texas, and I would not be surprised if he does it.
Well, let's talk about a couple of other championship contenders. How about the other guy starting on the front row alongside Sauter in that 18 truck of Noah Gragson, Mike?
Well, we know he's had a tremendous amount of speed all year long. He's won the most stages of any other driver. But, man, it's go time, Vince. He hasn't won since back in May at Kansas on the mile-and-a-half there. And of the last 3 starts, 2 of his finishes have been outside the top 10. We're playoff racing. You better get your act together, and tonight would be a big night for him to do that.
How about the 24 of Justin Haley? Won the season or the playoff opener at Canada, but tonight he still comes into this race on the outside looking in.
Yeah, but I think that's the opposite of what you were talking about, Michael, because Justin Haley has finished in the top 10 11 races in a row, including 2 wins. He's a young man that we didn't count really to be maybe a Homestead contender, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him there as well.
And he finished 3rd here in the spring, so certainly capable of getting it done. Well, it's about time to get that command. Let's get downstairs and hear it.
Here to give the command to start engines for tonight's race, along with his daughters Grayson and Georgia, please welcome co-owner of Jag Metals, Blake Bailey.
Go. Drivers, start your engines!
Great teamwork on that command, and it's going to take teamwork tonight as well. The playoffs full of big moments. More coming your way.
Now they're crashing. Matt Crafton pounds the outside safer barrier. It's an absolute junkyard here.
Justin Haley comes through to win the playoff opener.
How about that? What a great finish.
Grant Enfinger will win and move to the round of 6 in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs.
Couple of trucks tangle, and they get away with it.
Easy. My front's killed. Got splat.
Gregson goes around the wreck at Talladega. And with this win, he will secure his spot in the championship 4. Johnny Sauter will get his 4th win at Martinsville.
Truly is bigger in Texas. The NASCAR playoffs are in a perfect location. It is a huge race for the Camping World Truck Series. Sauter clinches a spot in the Final Four at Miami.
It's his championship right now.
Johnny Sauter is going to bring it home. Sauter's going to win it for the 5th time.
Johnny Sauter wins at Texas. Different day, same story. Johnny Sauter, the man to beat as the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series rolls into Texas for the round of 6 playoff showdown. It's a beautiful night and ready to go racing under the lights at the 2nd time at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, let's take a look at our Camping World track description. You see this racetrack, normally each end of the racetrack are the same. Not here. You see the turns 1 and 2 only banked 20 degrees. We saw 2 trucks get into the wall qualifying over in turn number 2. Very challenging part of the racetrack. A little bit easier down on 3 and 4 with 24-degree banking, 5 degrees on the front and the back straightaway.
All those numbers equal speed. These trucks are going to go record speeds tonight. You can see the race is 147 laps, 220 miles. 3 stages, we're going to go 35, 35, and then the last 77 lap sprint to the checker. The pit window is right around 50 to 55 laps. And remember, if they go green flag, that's about what it is. With some cautions, you can stretch it out, and man, that can mix up the strategy.
And Johnny Sauter not only won here in the fall, but he also won the last time we were here just earlier this spring. He'll start on the pole tonight, and Noah Gragson will start on the front row for the 8th time this season.
Stewart Friesen came so close in June to getting that first win back in row 2.
Talked to David Gillen a little while ago. He said, it's the best truck I ever had. Now, he's 42 years old. That's a pretty good sample of truck. When an 18-year-old says that, Phil, I think, well, how do you know?
How about row 7? A couple of championship contenders, Enfinger and Crafton.
Veterans as well. There's Ben Rhodes. He got in the wall in qualifying. Have to go to the rear of the field. Ross Chastain. Watch for him to be a real upset candidate.
Brennan Poole, brand new team making their first start back in row number 11.
Yeah, with Corey Roper and Tyler Young in row 12. Bailey Curry, Cody Robaugh making his first start here at Texas.
Joe Cobb on row 15. Jordan Anderson had some issues in qualifying. We'll see if he can get that 3 truck tuned up, ride it toward the front.
32 trucks getting ready to get after it here at Texas Motor Speedway, and our onboard looks.
Check out this Ford onboard camera for Matt Crafton. He's starting from the 14th position. Playoff hopes are in jeopardy. He's going to have to sprint toward the front.
Why don't we go all the way up to the front, and we'll ride along with Johnny Sauter. An amazing job at qualifying. We rode with him with his visor cam, the Chevrolet onboard, the ISM Connect Chevy. Johnny Sauter starting from the pole, and let's see if we can make contact with Johnny and see what he's thinking here. Hey, Johnny, Phil Parsons up in the Fox booth with Michael Walton with Vince Welch. You got a copy?
4, I got you.
Well, you gave us a great ride qualifying. We rode along with you with that visor cam. It was fun to watch you run wide open around here. Johnny, I know since that win at Martinsville locks you into Homestead, you had a little bit of fun this weekend?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback to the radio, but our ISM Connect Chevy had good speed, obviously qualifying. So for me to qualify towards the front, kind of rare, but just proud of everybody at GMS Racing and Joe and all the guys on this 21 Silverado. I think we had good long run speed yesterday, so we'll just go to work here and see what we can do.
All right, buddy, we appreciate it. Have a good ride.
Yeah, Johnny said a little bit rare for him to be on the pole. First time in 59 races he's been on pole. Very nice, very nicely done for Johnny Sauter and crew chief Joe Shear Jr. today in qualifying.
That's what I love about the truck series. You know, you talk about the dominance of Johnny Sauter, championship favorite, won at Martinsville. Hadn't been on the pole in 59 starts, so he makes a lot up when they throw the green flag. On the other hand, Noah Gragson qualifies up front a lot, and he's going to start on the front row tonight.
Let's hear from a couple of crew chiefs, and we begin with Caitlin.
Well, Vince, Kevin Bellicourt calls the shots for Justin Haley. One of the teams just right around on the cut line. What's the approach and strategy for you guys tonight?
We bank all the points we can in the first 2 stages. We're in a good spot. We qualified well, which was huge. 2 of the guys who are racing the 98 and 88 are back a little farther, so we're only 2 points below the cut line. No reason to panic. Nothing to worry about. We don't have to win. We just got to accumulate points. So that's our goal. We're going to just race this in 3 different stages. We'll reset after the second stage and see where we're at. But we're in a good spot to start. Justin did a great job in qualifying. So I think we're going to have a good night. We got a good truck.
Good luck to you. Justin Haley starts 6th. Hermie?
Well, Jeff Inslee's a crew chief for Grant Enfinger. You're 2 points inside the championship battle. You won on the last mile and a half at Vegas, but you start 13th tonight. What would be the key for Grant making his way to the front?
Well, I think track position is huge here. It's going to be hard to pass. Track still hasn't widened out like it has in the past, you know, but as it gets more age on it, it will. So track position, I think our Protecta Harvest F-150 is driving really good, and we'll just do a little strategy here and see what happens.
It's Jeff Inslee. Time to go green, Vince.
Yeah, indeed, feeling the anticipation around this one. I'm going to tip the cap to Brett Moffitt and crew chief Scott Zipadelli as well. Moffitt rolling off in that 4th spot, his best qualifying effort of the season. And, of course, those two on the front row. Johnny Sauter in the 21 truck. Fastest single truck pole in series history earlier today in qualifying.
We talked about how tight the playoff points are, but watch how tight this track is down in turn 1 and 2. These guys will have to hustle to get themselves sorted out off turn 2.
We've already had trouble over in 1 and 2 in qualifying. Look for it to happen again tonight.
Racing at Texas Motor Speedway for the 42nd time. At no track have we raced more in the Truck Series, and this is a big one tonight. The middle race in the round of 6. Green at Texas. Friesen and Gregson trying to sort out 2nd on the backstretch side by side.
Justin Haley also trying to move up. You see him battling David Gillen. Justin's in the black 24 truck.
This one started like the last one time we were here finished. Friesen chasing Johnny Sauter on lap 1. Give the lead to Sauter. Friesen on his tailgate.
How much are they feeling the draft tonight? How much is that going to play a factor?
It's big, Vince. And look at this run off turn 2. Great job by Friesen to get to the bottom. He pulled up on Sauter, and he's going to complete it.
See it right there. New leader, Stuart Friesen, going to the front.
Looked like Johnny Sauter got a little bit loose over there in 3 and 4. It's going to allow Noah Gregson to pull up side by side with him. Probably take that spot getting in. Turn number 1.
The 16 of Brett Moffitt at that start there on the right-hand side of the screen. Like the 24 got into the backside tailgate of Moffitt.
And they're 3 wide for 2nd now.
Caution is out. Caution on lap 3 here at Texas, and it's the 54 of Bo Lamastus, and that is a big hit.
Bo had a bit of a scrape with the wall in practice, was able to overcome that.
Yeah, qualified 20th, pretty decent qualifying effort for that Crosley Toyota.
But I'll tell you, 16th at the time.
I'll tell you, Phil, that you talked about the draft, Vince. When you get back in the middle of the field, like where Bo was, it's just so turbulent back there. The trucks really don't handle well at all, and it looks like he just maybe got loose getting into the turn and spun straight up into the outside wall. We'll see if we can find a replay of it after we go to break.
Yeah, it's going to be terminal for Bo, though.
Night is over for Lamastus, but we've got plenty left for you from Texas. Getting ready to go back green, currently under caution after the Bo Lamastus single truck incident. Stuart Friesen and Noah Gregson will restart us from the front row, but we were talking about that draft a little bit earlier, Mike, and this is the way the air is on the back of these trucks.
Yeah, you can see Johnny Sauter was right on the 18 truck of Noah Gregson, got him loose. Johnny pushed up, and look at the door it opened for Justin Haley. He fires through there.
Yeah, guys, it's not completely a surprise, at least early in a run, that Sauter's having trouble. At the end of first practice yesterday, he was top of the speed truck, but when I spoke to Johnny in between practices, he says we got a lot of speed, but the truck does not drive comfortably. It's a little bit too edgy to race in traffic, so we'll see how much progress these guys can make on it during the course of the night.
And Hermie, things just got worse for him because now he's back on that second row. He's going to have a couple of trucks in front of him dirtying up the air. If the truck is indeed edgy to drive, and it looked like it was off a bit when he went through 1 and 2, then that means trouble is even going to be bigger with the air messed up around him.
And I thought he was loose in 3 and 4 when he was by himself one of those first 2 laps.
Pace truck about to pull off, and Stuart Friesen, who was on pole here and finished second in the spring. We've seen speed from that 52 already tonight. Noah Gragson will start alongside on the outside, and the green's back out.
Ooh, Johnny.
Sauter out of the groove again.
That's what we talked about, how that turbulent air would make that truck even more difficult to drive.
3 wide for the lead, and Friesen gets put in the sandwich. It's going to be Haley and Gragson side by side for the top spot.
I really like the way that 24 truck looks early on here.
We heard his crew chief say that we don't think we need to win. How are you going to tell a 19-year-old kid he doesn't need to win in Texas? This would be the biggest win of his career, probably. And I think it's going to be hard to convince him he doesn't need to win.
Sauter still trying to gather it up there on the left-hand side of your screen. Definitely got issues in that 21.
Something's wrong with that truck.
What's going on, Hermie?
Vince, he's got a flat right front tire, he believes. They told him to fill it out in the corner, but don't be surprised to see Johnny Sauter on pit road right now.
While Sauter tries to make his way to pit road, still a battle for the lead at the front between Justin Haley and Noah Gragson.
Haley's going to complete the pass. And look at that truck, number 17, David Gilliland.
Mike, you've liked Gilliland all day long. Really, he showed speed today.
Yeah, and I called him earlier today, and I said, what do you think, buddy? He said, I got the best truck ever. I think I can win this race. He's got the heat on him behind, though. That's Stuart Friesen. I really believe that 52 truck could be the fastest guy in town.
Well, and a big development in regards to Johnny Sauter. But remember, Sauter won last week at Martinsville, so he's already clinched his spot into the championship 4, and it's a good thing. Otherwise, this would be a horrible break for Sauter.
Without a doubt, they would find themselves probably at this point out of the playoff picture, but that win locks them in.
There's Matt Crafton making a move past Enfinger, his teammate at ThorSport, for 7th.
What's happened to Brett Moffitt? He's dropped all the way back to the 10th position.
How about David Gillen? Grabbing that second spot from Noah Gragson.
I love this story of David Gillen. You know, he's all about his son getting this opportunity to go racing in the truck series. He makes 4 starts, 3 top 4 finishes, and it looks like he might have the truck to beat here tonight. And another great run early for Sheldon Creed. He's up inside the top 5.
That's Creed in that 2 truck. The ARCA Series champion this year, had 4 ARCA wins and has shown himself well. Did a nice job last week at Martinsville. As Gragson right there on the back bumper of that 17 of David Gilliland, had to back off just a bit. About a third of the way through stage 1 here at Texas. Justin Haley out front. What a playoff run it's been for Haley. He won the playoff opener. His average finish in the 4 playoff races this season, 3.5, and he came into this race on the outside looking in. How is that possible?
Went to Martinsville, so this is my worst racetrack. Never really had a good finish in Martinsville. Was solid all day long, finishing in the 6th position. I'm telling you, this young man may be someone to contend with in Homestead if he gets there.
Yeah, I talked to him after that race in Martinsville, and he was just so happy that he was able to be competitive and run strong and finish up inside the top 10. And that's continuing here in Texas with a really fast number 24 truck.
That's Friesen hunting down the 2 of Creed for 4th.
I was just looking at the scoring monitor, the last lap time for Johnny Sauter. A very competitive lap time among the fastest top 5 or 6 trucks. So it looks like they have that problem fixed, but he finds himself 1 lap down. Ooh, trouble for Gillen.
Absolutely.
It's a motor situation, looks like, guys.
So 2 of our top contenders with problems already tonight, and
Gillen,
Gillen,
got in the wall.
Yeah, he's been into the
Caution
outside
is
wall,
out.
and wow, that was a big dive to pit road across traffic.
Whew. So David Gilliland with a major problem after running 2nd.
See, the right front tire is down, but we don't know whether that happened before or after he got it into the outside wall. I just caught a glimpse of that truck smoking down the backstretch. What must be an engine issue. Then we obviously see the right side and all the damage and taking it straight to the garage area.
That's the second DGR Crosley truck to be into the outside wall and bring out the caution. Gilliland with the winning net down. But his night is over as well.
So Bo Lomastis and David Gilliland, co-owners of that Gilliland-Crosley team, both of them are out. Hermie?
Yeah, Vince, that's the right rear tire off the 21 of Johnny Sauter. You saw the green circle around the puncture in that tire. They ended up taking just the right rear tire back to Goodyear. Goodyear will, and NASCAR will allow them to replace the right rear tire only. So they'll have another set to put back on later tonight if he needs it, but he can only replace the right rear tough brake for the 21.
And Johnny Sauter will now get the free pass because of the yellow brought out by David Gilliland.
You know, racing, it's fickle sometimes. Johnny said, I don't like the way my truck handles in practice. He starts to race, he has a flat right rear. He's really not going to like how it handles with that.
There's the contact, boy, hard contact from Gilliland. That truck did not turn.
No, he just got, it looked like that possibly could be a right front tire failure, Phil. I know if you get up there on the outside of the groove, it's really slippery, and it could have just slipped into the outside wall, but if that tire was soft, that's exactly the look it would have had.
Yeah, it might not have been flat, but it certainly could have been soft.
So about halfway through stage one here at Texas, under yellow for the second time. But Justin Haley out front when we restart on the return. Great view of the racetrack from the Ferris wheel here at Texas Motor Speedway, and certainly a great night under the lights as we're getting ready to go back green here shortly. You look at the colors there on the left-hand side of the screen of the pylon. If you're in yellow, you're currently in on points. If you're in red, well, currently you're on the outside looking in. And if you were green, well, the only one that should have a green widget would be Johnny Sauter. But right now, Sauter is 28th after having a punctured tire and having to come to pit road under green. There's a look inside the workspace for Sauter and that great view that he'll provide us throughout the course of the night in the visor cam.
Johnny got the free pass, so he is back on the lead lap.
Justin Haley and Noah Gregson for the restart.
Keep an eye on that 88, that yellow 88 of Matt Crafton. Started 14th, already up to 5th.
And right beside him in the yellow 98, that's Grant Enfinger, and he started 13th. So they've really marched through the field here early.
Sheldon Creed in that 2 truck alongside Noah Gregson battling for that second position.
Creed really needs to be careful down on the bottom. Not a lot of experience from the 2 driver. You can make it through turns 3 and 4 pretty easily down on the bottom, but when we get down here to turn 1, he's really got to watch himself hugging the bottom with the truck on his outside.
Stuart Friesen right there looking for either one of them to make a mistake, and there's the backside of Friesen through the view of Matt Crafton.
You know, guys, it's about 30 degrees cooler than it was here in June, but I've seen a lot of these trucks dancing around. I don't think these trucks are underneath these guys like they need to be.
No, and when you go side by side, it's really treacherous. See Friesen, he's able to drive up under Gregson. He needs to clear him before turn 1. Have a smooth ride through that end of the speedway.
Look at that run it gives Matt Crafton while those 2 guys were side by side.
Here's that spot, Mike, that you said can be so difficult, but Friesen is able to put away Gregson as he goes through, and right in front of Johnny Sauter goes the 9 of Cody Robaugh around.
Robaugh does a nice job of just bumping the outside wall. He'll live to race another lap or 2.
Get right front and right rear tire down on the 9 truck.
So for the 3rd time already tonight in 22 laps, we have an incident, and Robaugh was back in the 18th position.
And that's a result of what you said, Vince and Phil. These guys are loose. Their trucks aren't handling well. 1 and 2 will be your trouble spot all night long.
Watch this from the view of Johnny Sauter.
See the black truck right up in front of him.
Just gets loose. Oh, and Sauter does a great job, as does Bailey Curry. And was that Jesse Little slipping through after being on pit road? 3 guys that just did a perfect job avoiding a crash.
Here's Sauter's view.
Did you see wiggle his wheel. Got hit from behind. Curry hit him in the back, but he was able to slide through.
As you mentioned, Cody Robaugh did a nice job not making any more contact with the outside safer barrier.
Robaugh's run just one race this season. That was at Bristol, where he finished 16th, making his first start here at Texas. Johnny Sauter's been an eventful night already for Sauter. He's back in the 19th position.
I wonder if they'll come check that damage. Yeah, I think so. He got hit pretty hard in the back bumper. We saw that left rear fender bent out. So Sauter will come to pit road, and the crew will go to work and making sure there isn't any damage back there that'll make a tire rub.
Remember, stage points don't matter to Johnny Sauter. They matter to the other playoff contenders.
Taking advantage of this opportunity to not only check the damage, but you see wedge wrenches on both sides of this truck. It's a wedge adjustment to try to stand the back of the truck up on the left side, so they're taking rounds out of the left rear, also going down on the track bar on the right rear. You see a little bit of damage to the rear bumper area of the 21, but his truck is loose on entry, so they're trying to use wedge and track bar to get him a little more stable entering the corner.
And Phil, that damage to the back of that truck won't hurt a thing. It's behind. The spoiler is still intact. It's behind the spoiler, and tucking that down, if anything, might help it handle a little bit better, especially if he's loose. So got a big break there for our championship leader.
For sure. Remember when we talked about the track description, how turns 1 and 2 only bank 20 degrees. All the drivers and the crew chief say getting loose into turn number 1 is a big problem here. Not as much over in turn 3 because you have a little more banking to catch you, but loose into 1 is a huge problem.
What about the 21-year-old kid out of California? Sheldon Creed is a dirt racer. He likes all this slipping and sliding they're doing here at Texas. This is a great start for that young man.
Without a doubt, he won our last ARCA Racing Series event at Kansas on the 1.5 mile.
Former X Games gold medalist back in 2015. Came up in the truck on the dirt, doing some off-road racing.
He's an X Games champion. You know he's a little bit crazy. Yeah, got to get with it.
I think maybe a 3-time champion of Robbie Gordon's off-road truck series, stadium truck series.
The 2 and the 24. Let's begin with Hermie.
You guys mentioned Sheldon Creed. What an outstanding job he is doing. The biggest difference, he said, when they dropped the green flag was how dirty the air was and how much more he was having to lift. So he felt like he'd be moving backwards, but he's been moving to the front steadily. Right now, his truck is a little bit on the free side, but getting better each and every lap. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, everyone's been talking about the performance that Justin Haley has had throughout the course of the playoffs. And he was telling me earlier today, the last couple races have really given this team a lot of energy. But he said in terms of this race here at Texas, they placed a lot of pressure on themselves because they know that Justin has run well here in the past. The 3-start series had 2 top 5 performances. But also Justin saying throughout the course of the season and the playoffs, he's really tried to just keep to himself. He says, I'm not concerned with making friends with the other competitors. I just run my own race and focus on myself, and it seems to be paying dividends for Justin Haley. Vince?
Well, that's for sure. The 19-year-old from Winamac, Indiana. A couple of wins this season, the first of his career, and that run of 11 straight top 10 finishes. Advanced to the round of 6 with that playoff opening win at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park when Gregson and Gilliland got together on the final corner.
And you mentioned earlier, 3.5 average finish in the playoffs.
Watch this start. This is nervous for me. I know how hard this is.
The restart with Haley inside and Creed outside.
Looked like Sheldon was a bit anxious there. Looked like he took off a little bit before Justin Haley, then he backed back off.
Still side by side. Haley trying to put Creed away for the lead, but Creed not giving up right there on the outside.
Look at Matt Crafton making it 3 wide down the inside to take over 4th and going for 3rd.
Still side by side for the lead. Haley gets a little wiggle.
Creed is right on that right rear fender of the 24 truck that's making him loose, but he's able to get in there and clear Creed.
Finally, Haley to the lead, and now Crafton trying to take advantage and get a hold of Sheldon Creed for 2nd.
They're lining up on the outside, trying to get on by the 88 of Crafton, but Brett Moffitt's going to pull in behind Crafton to help him.
So Friesen slots into the 3rd position. Crafton running 4th.
Gregson and Moffitt back there 5th and 6th. There's Moffitt in the 16.
Where did Ben Rhodes come from with that 41 truck?
He came from the back.
From the back.
For the lead, Sheldon Creed back to the front. How about this kid? He'd made 4 starts before tonight, and 3 of them were on the dirt at Eldora. Last week at Martinsville, the first time he'd been on the pavement. And he is looking like a veteran so far tonight. Under 10 to go in stage 1.
And not one of those starts in the Truck Series has helped him do what he's doing here tonight.
It's a different animal when you attack a 1.5 mile track, especially running track record speeds in race trim. He's doing a fantastic job.
Jeff Stankiewicz, the crew chief for Creed on the ARCA side, told me last week that he is so impressed with Sheldon Creed, and he believes he is going to be a big timer in this sport, and we've seen nothing to sway us from that thought the last couple of weeks.
Creed out front, and you're riding with Matt Crafton in the 4th spot. That's Stuart Friesen just ahead.
And no surprise to see Matt Crafton run well here at Texas. A 2-time winner here at this racetrack. See Haley pull out a line, try to move to the inside of Creed. Had a great view from the Ford onboard of Matt Crafton.
Challenge for the lead. It's Justin Haley.
Look at Creed trying to side draft. That's a dangerous game to play on your teammate especially.
Haley to the front now. What a battle out front between Justin Haley and Sheldon Creed.
6 laps to go to the end of this stage. You know Justin Haley would love to get those 10 stage points.
He knows how important 1 point can be to get to Miami, and that's why he's battling so hard.
Friesen lost a little air. Crafton is going to try to take advantage, pulling up alongside.
Bringing Brett Moffitt with him, too, in that 16 truck. Good drafting help for Crafton from Moffitt, but it made him loose into the corner.
Great entry that time for Friesen into turn 3.
Mike, where's the worst spot if you're driving one of these trucks? Where's the worst spot for someone else to be on you?
On your right rear. If they put that left front nose on your right rear, especially entering the corner, it could just suck you right around. And these guys are really fighting to gain control through 1 and 2. You don't need to be side by side.
5 laps remaining here in this first stage at Texas. Remember, Johnny Sauter has already had a problem with a
punctured tire. He's back in 19th.
Every one of the rest of our playoff contenders right now, all up in the top 7 positions other than Johnny Sauter.
And there's Robaugh around again for the 2nd time, and that brings out the caution once again.
That means a sprint for this stage win, I would bet.
I think we'll see some people probably make pit stops that aren't concerned with stage points.
Including Johnny Sauter, wouldn't you suppose?
I would think so, to get some track position over the guys that stay out to try to gain these points.
But if you're Crafton, Moffitt, Gregson, Infinger, you got to stay on the racetrack.
You have to stay on the racetrack to get the stage points.
Caitlin.
Well, listening to the communication for Noah Gregson, he's been telling the team, I'm snug on exit, free everywhere else, just need more overall grip. But his crew chief, Rudy Fugel, does have 3 wins here to his credit, so some good experience to lean on there for Noah. Vince?
Thanks, Caitlin. And with Haley, Crafton, Moffitt, Gregson, Infinger, all of those drivers in the top 7 and their desperate need for stage points, wouldn't expect any of them to come to pit road here, would you, until the end of the stage?
And remember, the pit road will be closed here
with 2 to go
when they get to the start-finish line. But I think at this rate of speed, they'll be able to peel off and get to the entrance to start on pit road.
Jordan Anderson has also come off track. Looks like he's got a problem. Hood is up, never a good sign.
Yeah, he had problems qualifying, Vince. The truck just would not handle for Jordan, and it's been a struggle since they threw the green flag.
You see the flashing red light. They're not going to open pit road, so that will take everybody's opportunity to short pit away.
And that's not something that's going to impact the strategy of those contenders there in the top 7.
Now, it could have gained Johnny Sauter some track position possibly if they had have opened pit road. NASCAR elected not to.
We're told they're going to finish this stage under yellow. While they do track cleanup, we take a break. Justin Haley will win stage 1. Under caution here at Texas for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, bringing stage 1 to a close. And When they cross the line and get the green and white checkers, it'll be Justin Haley receiving the stage 1 win and those so important 10 points that go along with it. So what's been your impression of stage 1 that stood out to you?
Competitive and crazy. Really loose truck, slipping and sliding, too wide racing. And then Justin Haley's crew chief, Kevin Bellecourt, said, we're going to chase points. That's what we have to do. What have they done?
They chased points and got them all. Been really impressed with Matt Crafton's move up through the field from 14th starting position to 4th in this first stage.
Todd Gilliland has come all the way from the back. Remember, he had that contact in qualifying to finish 10th in stage 1. Ross Chastain looking sporty in that 9th spot. And Sheldon Creed, the ARCA Series champion, has been so good tonight so far in this first stage.
This is such a different world for Sheldon Creed, and to be able to charge up to the front and run as competitively as he has, I think that's my story of this first stage, the way that he's been able to attack and be successful doing so.
The first stage win for Justin Haley. Came at a pretty good time, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Got those 10 points. Needs everyone he can get to try to get to Miami.
Remember, he came in here below the cut line.
So those are the points earned in this first stage. Pit road is open and it will be busy. We're going to toss it downstairs, and Hermie Sadler is waiting on him. Hermie?
Vince Sheldon Creed, what a quick study he has been. First mile-and-a-half race in a truck, but he's taken advantage of the experience of his crew chief, which is Doug Randolph. A lot of experience in NASCAR, and especially in this series. He likes his truck. They're going to put 4 tires, no adjustments. They want to try to pull one piece of tape off the front area of that truck if they can. It's overheating just a little bit. Caitlin.
Justin Haley in the middle of your screen, stage 1 winner, just asked his crew chief Kevin Bellecourt about the truck. He said Justin is really happy with it. We're not going to make any adjustments to it. We think this is the best truck in our fleet. Go ahead and put fresh tires on it. Also looking at Matt Crafton at the bottom of your screen, he was saying I'm too free on entry. They're also going to fill it up with fuel and put some tires on, guys.
Well, you saw there, thank you, Caitlin, saw there in the upper portion of the screen that pit stop by Sheldon Creed in the 35 truck blocked him in. That's Brennan Poole, and they had to back up Creed's machine just so he could get out of his pit box.
Looked like he might have slid into his pit box a little bit too deep. There was no one behind him. He would have been better off just to stop with that tailgate right on the line, but he came through too deep, and he can't get out.
A little bit of inexperience there by Creed.
Yeah, and also needs a lot of coaching in that situation. Stop short, Sheldon, stop short. I'm sure he tried to get in as fast as he could and slid through.
In that first pit stall as well.
And watch Poole backs up just as Creed is taken out, almost backs into him, because Poole himself was blocked in by the 9 of Cody Robaugh. So Sheldon Creed loses, I think, 7 spots on that pit stop.
Let's see if we can get a hold to Justin Haley. Hey, Justin, awesome stage win. Great job, buddy. How's that truck feeling, and is it as crazy out there as it looks to us up here in the booth?
It's taking his breath away, Mike.
Speechless is what he is right now. Give him one more shot. Hey, Justin, it's Michael and the boys in the Fox booth. Do you copy?
Hey, I got you, buddy.
Buddy, when I talked to you after Martinsville, you were as happy as I've ever seen you about your performance there. How crazy is it out there at Texas, slipping and sliding like you are, and great job on that stage win.
Yeah, it's been a really good night for the Charles Eagles GMS guys. You know, we're chasing the cutoff line here, so to have a stage like that, have raw speed like that, means a lot to me. So very thankful to be trying to chase this championship with GMS Racing, and everyone back home with the fabrication shop. It's mean a lot. So hopefully we can keep running like that, make adjustments, and stay up front.
Well, good job, and it's fun to watch. Have fun rest of the night.
Good work indeed by Justin Haley and that pit crew as well. Guys on pit road getting their money's worth. This could make a difference between winning or losing.
Ran out of room there.
Big day of college football tomorrow as the 10th-ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State look to avoid the upset. Nebraska will be the opponent. That's 11:30 Eastern. And then a couple of Big 12 contenders, West Virginia and Texas, square off at 3:30. Coming your way tomorrow on Fox. Of course, you can watch it anywhere on the Fox Sports app. Before we go back to green here at Texas, quickly we check in with Hermie.
Vince, keep an eye on the 98 of Grant Enfinger. He took 2 right side tires only, trying to gain some track position. Also, Johnny Sauter back on pit road with the hood up. They're trying to make an adjustment to get the splitter off the racetrack.
Man, we've got a crazy lineup here, Hermie. Mike Snyder, Jesse Little, Harrison Burton, Austin Hill. A bunch of guys that pitted on lap 17 stayed out here.
The top 6, in fact, stayed out. The first one that came to pit road is Stuart Friesen, who's on the inside of the 4th row. So it's Myatt Snyder on the inside, Jesse Little outside, and this is stage 2 at Texas.
Great jump by Snyder. He needed to clear Jesse, and he got it done.
Remember, Vince, you talked at the top of the show what a role Myatt Snyder in that 13 truck has been on.
6th at Las Vegas, 2nd at Talladega, 3rd at Martinsville. The best stretch of his career for Myatt Snyder. Leads the Rookie of the Year standings, and right now he leads the race. He's out front.
I don't see any way they don't crash.
Sideways.
And they did.
The 4 of Roper is around. Contact all over the place. Noah Gregson got sideswiped there, and I believe that's Johnny Sauter that was in the mix and with some contact as well. And there's the 0-4 of Corey Roper.
That's the first truck that I saw sideways over there in the middle of 3 and 4.
Heavy damage to Roper, and there's the 12 of Tyler Young. He's going to be done for the night as well. And Johnny Sauter said he was part of the contact, and you can see inside his truck.
Barely.
Yeah,
barely you can see inside.
A lot of damage. You can see the left rear fender rub. That's going right up into the cab. Also damage on the right side. Noah Gregson's going to be really fortunate if he sneaks through there. You can see the damage down the right of the 18 truck.
Can you imagine if Johnny Sauter would not have won last week at Martinsville, what this night would have done to his championship hopes?
Well, he's probably had more problems tonight than he has at any race, single race this season.
How quickly Noah Gregson comes to pit road.
Gregson seems to be rolling okay, but there's definitely some damage on that right side, particularly the right rear.
Tony Hirschman, his spotter, will be talking to crew chief Rudy Fugle about the damage and what it looks like to him and what he thinks that the guys need to do when he comes to pit road.
Back to pit road, you can see the damage, the rear bumper cover area, right rear tire rub. A lot of damage on both left side, right around the tires on both left side tires. But Joe Shear says we got to put tires on it first, all 4 tires going flat. So they're going to put tires on it, then go to work on some of the damage. You see a lot of damage to the left front area, in front of the left front tire, and also more damage in the back. So Johnny Sauter has been in the middle of just about everything going on this racetrack tonight, Vince.
Boy, it would be nerve-wracking indeed, and I'm sure it's been frustrating for Sauter anyway, but if he had not gotten that win last week at Martinsville, just cannot repeat enough how significant that was for him, a driver that has been really at times the dominant pilot this season here in the Truck Series. Good to see Corey Roper out of the truck after that heavy hit.
Probably a couple heavy hits.
Talking about Johnny Sauter and that win last week at Martinsville, and you see the points in the pylon, and it is tight between Noah Gregson all the way down and even Matt Crafton 17 out. I mean, the way this race is going, no telling where he could end up at the end of the night.
Oh, 3 wide. You can see the 8 truck of Nemechek around and into Roper, and then watch Sauter through the middle of it.
Yeah, he and Noah Gregson made some pretty good contact. See the 12 of Tyler Young. You got the worst of it right here when Corey Roper gets sideways and is going to take him out.
Thorson right there in the middle of Sauter and Gregson, and Thorson took a little bit of damage as well.
Watch that red truck on the outside. Looked like when he drove in on the right rear quarter of the 8 of Joe Nemechek, that got Joe sideways.
You could see the contact there from Gregson as he slides by into the side of Sauter.
Well, you could just tell from that onboard mic of Sauter, that hit with Gregson was significant.
These trucks are tough, though, Vince. I didn't see a lot of damage to the right side of Gregson, and The left was wrinkled up on Sauter, but still it looks like he's going to race on. Phil, I was just getting ready to say, I was saying while they were spinning, I don't see how they don't wreck. And that's just how crazy these restarts are. And I don't see how we don't get more crashes.
They were 4 and 5 wide down the backstretch, and they had to funnel into turn number 3.
What are the concerns, Caitlin, on that 18 of Gregson?
Well, before we saw that incident, actually, Noah was further back in the field because of an issue on his pit stop, getting the fuel can all the way up into the truck. That was the issue which caused him to be further back in the field for that restart. But Rudy Fugel, the crew chief, very calmly going over the radio, telling the road mechanics which ones will be going over the wall to start the repairs to that truck. They want to make sure there's clearance for that right rear tire. That's one of the areas of concern for the 18 truck. You see the mechanics have the bare bond out to go ahead and start the process of making the repairs to that truck. Vince?
Caitlin mentioned the issue on the pit stop and being unable to get the truck fueled properly. That was about a 40-second pit stop, so that's why Gregson was back there in that mess to begin with.
Look at the points as they run now, guys. I mean,
talk about tight.
If you don't think every point matters getting to Miami, just look how close things are. Matt Crafton is running inside of the top 10. And he's 17 out, but everyone else is just a position or two separated.
And I would say that Crafton has been fast enough from what we've seen in this race tonight that he's a contender to win, and how that would really upset that playoff structure.
Yeah.
We talked about all season our big three of Johnny Sauter, Brett Moffitt, Noah Gregson. And if Justin Haley or Matt Crafton could win and lock themselves into Homestead, that would mean one of our big three would not make it. For sure, at least one of our big three would not make it to Homestead.
I would just soon try to survive tonight rather than maybe worry about winning.
Action everywhere at Texas. Making our way through stage 2 for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Myatt Snyder in the lead as we're under caution. Gives us a chance to remind you that for the first time ever, our colleagues here at Fox Race Hub presents the Fans' Choice Awards, where you, the fans, get the chance to vote on your favorite moments from this season.
Fans' Choice Awards! We choose Austin Dillon wins the Great American Race.
Best paint scheme.
Best crew chief. Best command.
Y'all ready to roll ball?
Start your engine!
Best celebration. Clint Boyer. He's your winner in Michigan.
You need to vote. Wildest wreck.
Radio sweetheart.
He's such a dip. What a waste of space.
Vote, vote, vote.
Yes, vote. You must vote. Voting continues all next week. So tune into Race Hub each night, 6 o'clock Eastern, to find out the daily category. And then the Race Hub Fans' Choice Awards will air in November, later this month on FS1. Hermie?
This one updates you on the strategy situation for the 13 of Myatt Snyder. He's on the inside. The 97 of Jesse Little also up on the front row. Both of these trucks pitted on lap 16, but the 13 of Myatt Snyder is still on the same 4 tires. He started the race on the 97 of Jesse Little, got 2 right side tires on his pit stop. So these guys are doing a great job of keeping those trucks up front.
Yeah, Myatt Snyder familiar with being up front here at Texas. Last year, he led 21 laps.
But anytime, Vince, you get a field of differing strategies near the front of the field, fast trucks buried back in the back, it's a recipe for a wreck. We saw it on that last restart.
And nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed.
We still have the same guys that are on a different strategy up front of the guys that just pitted at the end of the stage.
And instead of our playoff contenders being all packed toward the front, they're scattered all throughout the top 20, all the way down to Noah Gregson, who's back in 21st now. So this racing is going to be intense.
Gregson and Sauter 21st and 19th. I mean, who would have thunk it?
Here comes Sauter back to pit road. See the back end hung out over to the right. That's actually not a horrible thing. Could be a little bit more to lean on back there when he goes into the corner. Hermes, what are they saying down there in the pit?
Flat left rear tire. Michael, big break for this team that the caution light came back on top of the pace car. I'm not sure what the NASCAR official is telling these guys right now, but a flat left rear tire. They got it up. They'll have to put these two left side tires on, but just one thing after another right now for the 21.
Yeah, but Hermie, they got to be careful. The reason why the tire was flat was probably that left rear fender getting into that tire, and that happened under caution. We go back green flag racing, it won't last long unless they made a correctment there. I saw them pulling on the left rear. Hopefully they got it clearanced.
So about 20 to go here in stage 2, and you see them working on that tire, looking to see a puncture. Remember, he already had a punctured tire once tonight.
Well, that looked like that was in the tread, though.
It was in the tire, in the tread itself, not the sidewall. So probably just ran over something after that big crash down in turns 3 and 4.
Well, you see our championship colors there in the playoff indicators. Only 2 in the top 8 to even talk about, with Justin Haley still on the outside looking in, Grant Enfinger inside. Johnny Sauter, the only one that would have a green widget via his win last week at Martinsville, but Sauter is back in 24th.
Guarantee you Matt Crafton doesn't like where he's sitting right now. Back just inside the top 10 for this restart.
Myatt Snyder inside, Jesse Little outside. 20 to go in stage 2.
Good Friesen jumped to the outside of the 22 of Austin Lane's self, making it 3 wide.
Friesen looking to gain some ground on this restart high side. Snyder still out front. Harrison Burton has taken over second. Austin Hill in third, and Justin Haley has made his way into the 4th spot. Jesse Little rounding out the top 5. So you get the view from Matt Crafton in 7th.
Right behind his teammate Grant Enfinger in the 98. 20 laps to go in this stage.
I like the way Crafton's truck is hugging the bottom, Phil. He slips up on the exit a bit, but he's able to keep that nose over to the left of his teammate Enfinger. That's a good handling truck when you can do that.
Jesse Little on that restart started on the front row, but he has slipped back into the 5th spot, and Grant Enfinger trying to move inside of Little now with Matt Crafton right behind him.
Matt will try to take advantage of that door being open, but Enfinger, they're so close.
Jesse Little moves over and gives Grant a little bit more room, a little more space in between those trucks.
And when one goes by, another tries to take advantage as well, and that's the position Matt Crafton is in, and Crafton does indeed clear Jesse Little.
I like what Little did there. He let off the gas, rolled in behind Crafton. A lot of racing left to go. He didn't want to have his scuttle-tight truck up on the outside beside Crafton. That's a veteran move for the young racer.
How about that 0-2 of Austin Hill doing a nice job here? He's got Haley all over the back. Look at him, take him loose.
Hill and Haley side by side for 3rd.
Some pit strategy got Austin Hill up in the top 5. Done a nice job holding on to it.
Hill rode off too, getting in the corner. I understand why he did it. He was probably still scared to death from what happened to him coming off the corner.
Meanwhile, Johnny Sauter and Noah Gragson try to work their way back up through the field. Gragson 21st. Sauter 19th.
Remember,
a lot of work to do.
Not that big a deal for Johnny Sauter. Already locked in our finale at Homestead, but Noah Gragson has a lot of work to do.
Look at this battle for the lead.
Harrison Burton taking a look at him. This is the first time on a 1.5 miles in a truck for Harrison Burton, and Justin Haley now pressuring the 51.
That's because 51 lost momentum, Vince, when he closed right in on Myatt Snyder in the 13 truck. Our leader lost his handling a bit and some momentum, and it gave Haley an opportunity to pounce.
How about Myatt Snyder in that 13, our Rookie of the Year candidate leader? 2nd at Talladega, backed it up last week with a 3rd place finish at Martinsville. Just barely missed the playoffs. He was the first driver on the outside of the cut line when the playoffs began.
Doing a great job, but how about that young man in 2nd spot? First ever 1.5 miles in the truck series for Harrison Burton. Doing a terrific job.
I talked to Harrison at Martinsville down on the grid walk field, and he said, we're here to win Martinsville. And that will be our attitude everywhere we go. We want to show our team that we have what it takes to win races at this level. That's all he's focused on.
Harrison Burton has a little bit fresher tires than Snyder, but Snyder is holding on. We're going to take a break, but you will not miss a thing. Going to keep on trucking from Texas.
In the NASCAR playoffs, the energy transforms everything.
The pack is flying apart.
An infield becomes the place to be. A spectator becomes a fan. An experience becomes unforgettable.
You lit the track on fire.
And a driver becomes a champion.
Light the party in victory lane.
Be there as these drivers lay it all on the line.
Ready the needle.
Get your tickets to the NASCAR playoffs by visiting NASCAR.com/tickets.
Tag.
You're it.
Toyota, let's go places.
In the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series playoffs, we know what it takes to win the championship. This. Clear. This.
Go.
And a whole lot of.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Because to be champion,
Sauter and Moffitt side by side.
you've got to lay it all on the line.
Play for one another. Let's go.
It's a full slate of action. Sunday, what catch? In America's Game of the Week, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, and the undefeated Rams. Touchdown! Face off with Drew Brees.
Here we go.
As he leads the hard-charging Saints in a crucial NFC showdown. It all starts with Fox NFL Kickoff, and watch anywhere on the Fox Sports app.
Well, you saw it in the side-by-side. Sheldon Creed was running 11th, and turn 2 bit him.
We kept on trucking, but Shelton didn't.
Yep.
He ended up on the inside retaining wall. Significant damage to that 2 truck.
It's a shame. Creed was running up toward the front earlier tonight, battling for the lead.
Fun to watch, too. A kid that has no experience at this level, just gets a little bit high, probably, Phil. Loose up the hill, and around he goes. Great driving by those other truckers to not make further contact with Creed.
Well, they get up out of the groove. It seems like that wall just sucks them in.
Sure does. He did a nice job not letting that truck hit the inside wall, but still significant damage to the rear.
Sheldon Creed, we mentioned the ARCA Series champion this year. He won 4 times in the ARCA Series, and this was his 3rd start in the Truck Series this year. He started at Eldora and then last week at Martinsville. How about the 52 of Stuart Friesen sitting in that 6th spot, Hermie?
Vince coming down pit road to go ahead and get the service done. Right side tires are on, left side tires going up. Now on the 52, track position very, very critical, obviously, for the 52. They're hoping at the end of the 2nd stage they'll gain some of that pit track position back. The 21 of Johnny Sauter also back on pit road. His truck is really loose. Some of the damage, 4 tires, fuel, and wedge for Johnny Sauter in the 21.
Into the late laps here in stage 2.
I think it puts all these guys in a window to make it on one more stop from here. So whether they stop now or at the end of the 2nd stage, they're still going to have to stop one more time.
You see the work continuing on the 2 truck of Sheldon Creed. Not going to finish well for the rookie. Getting ready to go. We're going to restart and hopefully go to green and finish this 2nd stage. It's been a very disjointed race so far with the multiple cautions. How about the pit strategy that the 13 of Myatt Snyder's playing? He didn't pit He hasn't pitted since lap 16 and didn't even take tires during that stop. I mean, he's on the 4 tires he started the race with.
And his truck is very, very good. He needs stage points. We talk about our playoff contenders other than Johnny Sauter needing stage points. Well, Myatt Snyder's trying to win Rookie of the Year. He comes in this race with a 29-point lead over Todd Gilliland. So right now, these 10 stage points are on his mind to see if he can increase that lead a little bit over Todd Gilliland.
And I think it says something about these Goodyear tires that he's been able to hang out there on those old tires and keep the lead. But this is going to be tough, guys. We've just got a few laps to go in this stage. Guys are going to be more and more aggressive. Watch for more action.
Yeah, Snyder's led just 20 laps this season coming into tonight. He's led 27 tonight. Restart, going to take the green, 7 to go with Snyder at the point.
Brandon Endinger tried to pull over and squeeze out his teammate Matt Crafton. Realized he was there and they gave him some room.
Austin Hill challenging on the inside with Justin Haley outside for second.
This is a career night for Austin Hill. This is the fastest we've seen him all season long. He has a handful of top 10 finishes, but this is the first time he's run up this close to the front.
Yeah, career best 8th place for Hill, and he is well inside the top 5 right now, battling for second.
And battling with the best we have right now with Justin Haley, the 24, riding along with the 88 of Matt Crafton.
Yeah, Phil, and talking with Matt Crafton earlier, he said, I am not concerned at all about the points while I'm running this race tonight. I don't want to know where the other competitors are at. I just want to run my race and focus on my own race. That's what I've always done in the past, and it has worked well for me. But he knows Texas Motor Speedway, it is a good track for him. He's 2 wins here, has finished in the top 10 in the last 14 races. Just talking with his crew chief, he is happy with this truck right now.
I tell you, he's not happy with what he's looking out the windshield at, Caitlin. Look, there goes Crafton. He gets very loose. Those trucks ahead of him were all over the track. He was trying to make a move, but he got loose down into turn 1.
And Enfinger took advantage of that and got past Crafton. How about that battle between Gregson and the 35 of Brennan Poole, both down below the line.
They are doing a lot of blocking here with, gosh, 82 laps to go in this race.
4 to go in this stage. Those stage points, so critical.
Look at Gregson. He's looking for that spot off Poole. He needs those points like you talked about, Vince. We can see the damage to the right side of that truck. It slips up the racetrack. No tire rubs or anything for Gregson, though, but that slip there is going to cost him stage points.
And another caution has come out, this time for debris, and it's significant. And that's the 2 of Sheldon Creed. We saw the pit crew putting tape on the back of that truck earlier, and it didn't work.
There's the
styrofoam
out of the side of the truck. Yeah, another truck with that's Creed.
See the tethers that hold that bed panel on that truck to keep it from flying off that truck.
It has been dicey tonight in traffic. Don't let up or you might lose several spots here in Texas. Back here at Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. You know, it's rarely happened this season, but it's happened both stages tonight, and that's finishing the stage under caution. Justin Haley won stage 1 tonight under caution, his first stage win of his career, and now Myatt Snyder wins stage 2, also under caution, and it's the first stage win of Snyder's young career.
Well, NASCAR does everything within their power, Vince, to get this thing back to green to finish the stage, even if it's just for a 1-lap run. But it's just simply too much debris on the racetrack for them to accomplish that. So Myatt Snyder's okay with that. He's going to come to pit road with the lead and win his first stage.
So through 2 stages tonight, this is the way the points have stacked up. Big night for Justin Haley.
Yeah, big night needed it. 2 came in here just a little bit below the cut line. 18 points. You see Matt Crafton, the second most points of anybody here. Another guy needing some points.
It's interesting, though. Crafton scored the second most points tonight. He's 5th right now on track, but he's lost 5 points in the standings. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
That's why he doesn't want to hear about points. He don't want to know anything about that. He just wants to race his truck and add them up at the end of the day. And I love that strategy and that thinking for the veteran Crafton. But I'm telling you, that was intense racing coming down toward the end of that stage. And he was seeing the most hectic battle ahead of him between Austin Hill, Enfinger, and Haley. Luckily, they all kept them going straight, and Crafton's going to come to pit road with a chance to win this race.
Well, Myatt Snyder has not even taken tires yet tonight. I mean, he pitted on lap 16, but that was a fuel-only stop for Snyder, so probably a welcomed stop this time for the 13 of Myatt Snyder, and he's heading toward Hermie Sadler.
Myatt Snyder's having himself a night, Vince. His last 3 finishes, 3rd, 2nd, and 6th. He's now a stage winner in this series. His truck is too tight. It'll be 4 tires in fuel for the 13. Remember, Grant Enfinger, last time on pit road, 2 right side tires only. His truck is also tight. 4 tires in fuel for Grant Enfinger.
Well, looking at Justin Haley at the bottom of your screen, he told the team this is a killer truck. Overall, I'm happy with it. Just a little bit tight. Crew Chief Kevin Bellicourt making the call for 4 tires.
Looks like some problems back there between the 88 of Crafton. Oh, he barely gets by the traffic there on pit road. That's Austin Self. We've seen some near misses on pit road tonight, and that could end your hopes in a hurry.
Yeah, without a doubt. I was really surprised that Matt Crafton was able to get turned out with the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. Looks like he's not going to have enough room to do it. Turns hard, and there he goes. Nice job by Matt Crafton.
There's Myatt Snyder sneaking just ahead of Crafton.
How about the radio of Myatt Snyder? Get a talk with the Stage 2 winner?
Let's try it. Hey, Myatt Snyder, Phil Parsons and the boys up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Try him again, Phil.
Hey, Myatt Snyder, this Bill Parsons, Michael Walter, Vince Welch up in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you all loud and clear. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, but you're doing a super job. You, Rich had you on old tires in. You're able to hold off Austin Hill and all those other guys to get that stage win, the first one here this year.
Yeah, you know, we got a really good centric container for an F-150, and guys at Thornton Racing gave me a great Ford performance truck. So, yeah, it's been a great night for us. Got our first stage win of the year. We've been close a couple other times, but, yeah, just really proud of this group for everything they've done.
Well, Mike, you're on a great roll here. 3 strong finishes in a row coming into this one. Finish it off well tonight, bud.
Happy for Myatt Snyder's done a nice job getting ready to get things started here for the final stage. This is why we were under caution. Sheldon Creed into the wall. Restart when we return. Kyle Busch Motorsports teammates on the front row to lead us to green. Final stage underway. Todd Gilliland at the point at Texas. Halfway.
Look who's battling for a spot in the top 5 there. Johnny Sauter. They've got the repairs made to that 21 truck, and he is strong.
There's a green 41 of Ben Rhodes lined up behind him as they try to make their way by the 51 of Harrison Burton.
I think I saw him 4 wide again back there, Phil.
Oh, yeah. First time we've seen Ross Chastain, too, on the outside of Johnny Sauter. That 38 truck.
He's in a bind, though. They're lined up below him. I don't think he can run that outside through 1 and 2 and keep the pace, but he's going to give it a shot.
Taking a look.
Jesse Little looking at 3 wide.
Matt Crafton lined up with the 24 Justin Haley as they work to the inside of the 8 of Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, that's just outside the top 10. Crafton sits 12th. Snyder right behind him, the stage 2 winner.
As well as Austin Hill. What a great job he did finishing second.
Look
in that
who's
stage.
Rebounded also, Noah Gregson. He's battling inside the top 10, making some moves.
Justin Haley right there with him. One of the faster trucks tonight. Gregson's had to avoid contact and hasn't been able to avoid it on a couple of occasions, but has a little bit of repair done to that truck, but doesn't seem to be too much worse for the wear.
I think the 24 of Haley is probably the fastest truck without any damage out here tonight.
Sauter, plenty of damage on that 21. Ben Rhodes trying to take advantage.
Rhodes slips by Sauter. Here comes Jesse Little. Racing inside the top 5.
Jesse Little seems to get the most out of a little, no pun intended, but they have a small budget team, and he seems to deliver the goods every single time out.
Every time they unload it, he runs and he impresses us. He gets that truck up toward the front. And right behind him, Ross Chastain, another guy who always seems to over-exceed expectations. He's driving that 38 truck tonight. He goes around Sauter, but you said it, Phil. The guy that's most impressive every lap is the 24 of Justin Haley.
And he works to the inside of the 38 of Ross Chastain. There's Noah Gregson. The 18 pulls in on the tailgate with a 21 of Sauter.
And remember, Haley started this night outside the playoff cut line by a couple of points. Now he's 13 to the good. It has been indeed a good night for Justin Haley in that 24. Sauter back inside the top 10, Hermie.
It's unbelievable they've gotten this far up the ladder, Vince, after all the issues they've had at the very beginning of this race with a flat tire. They got involved in a wreck, another flat tire. They've worked on every corner of this truck. Still loose right now is the problem for Johnny Sauter. Not quite where they need to be yet. Caitlin.
Well, another driver who had some issues earlier in the day was Todd Gilliland. Contact with the wall in qualifying, had to make repairs to that truck before the race. But talking with his crew chief, Marcus Richmond, he said, with us no longer in the playoff hunt, he said, for us, it is all about the win and also already experimenting and trying some things for next season. But he told me he felt like the weakness for this team, they were never really able to execute at the end of the race, he told me. But right now, they're leading this race, guys.
Well, that's for sure, Caitlin. That has been a problem. DNFs in 2 of the last 3 and 4 straight finishes outside the top 10, but there's no question they have better quality than that.
Yeah, they have some speed. They've had speed the entire year. As we see Grant Enfinger, the 98, slide up underneath the 25 of Tyler Dipple.
Bringing Brett Moffitt along with them. And there's our stage 2 winner. Myatt Snyder hadn't been able to make any progress, Phil. The strategy changed up after that stage 2. And no progress for the 13 truck. Hermie, what are they saying about the 98 truck?
Michael, a little bit of a slow stop for the 98. That's why he's back in traffic. They dropped a lug nut on the left rear. The tire changer did as they were changing the left rear tire. Took the time to put the lug nut back on and completed the stop, but cost themselves several positions on the racetrack.
Well, and of course, Enfinger won at Las Vegas the last time we were on a mile and a half, but 14th or worse in the other 3 playoff races this season. That's why he is down the ladder, if you will, in regards to the playoff structure. He is 12 points outside the cut line. At the front, the 4 of Todd Gilliland and the 52 of Stuart Friesen, battling for the lead early here in the final stage.
Both these trucks were awfully good here in June. Remember, Todd Gilliland led the most laps here in June, and Stuart Friesen came within a truck length of beating Johnny Sauter for the win.
Neither driver has won in the truck series.
A couple of playoff drivers I'm worried about, though. We just talked about Grant Enfinger and their problems on pit road, but behind Enfinger is Brett Moffitt there you see in that 16 truck. This reminds me a lot of Martinsville. Hermie touched on it at the top of the show. Brett was buried in the back throughout that whole race and was able to scramble to a top 2 finish. He's going to have to scramble again in this final stage if he's going to get up there and get a good finish.
4 wins on the mile, or 4 wins this season, 2 of those on the mile and a half this year, one at Atlanta and the other at Chicago.
So you can see Brett's been as high as 5th in this race, but it doesn't seem that he's had the speed that some of these other competitors have had.
And that's concerning because Brett was really comfortable with his truck yesterday in practice and confident about the speed. They led the final practice session, but hasn't proven to be a fast truck here tonight.
Great qualifying effort, qualified 4th.
How does the change from the OEM engine, the Toyota engine, to the NT1 change the balance of the truck? Because they're quite significantly different in weight and distribution.
Yeah, I think that's something that Scott Zipadelli and the guys have had to work on, and that's why they had those 2 practice sessions yesterday, and they really feel like they got their handle on it, especially in that second practice session. And you never know, if he can get a little bit of track position, he may be able to run up front with these guys running up front.
3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th right there. Harrison Burton, Ben Rhodes, Jesse Little, Justin Haley.
And Haley's a truck that we've talked about. Every time we look up, Phil, he's catching people and passing people. Now he's driven up to this battle for the 3rd spot. See if he can make his way around.
Matt Crafton runs 8.
Yeah, Vince, and he just said over the radio, the left front is too tight. And he also said, I have a wicked vibration that I did not have before. His crew chief, Junior Joyner, responded and said, just ride it out for now. Let me know if it gets worse.
There you see on the left side, Haley getting another spot. I think Matt's quite a lot faster than Chastain right at the moment, but you can see Ross just eats up that white line, and there isn't really anywhere for Crafton to go, especially if he's experiencing a tight condition in the front of the truck. He can't turn down there.
The draft will pull him up to him as they get down to the end of the straightaway, but nowhere to go once he gets there.
Justin Haley on the hunt. Ben Rhodes now the target. Haley runs 5th. Rhodes and Harrison Burton just ahead as they pass a lap truck.
Yeah, the top two, Todd Gilliland and Stuart Friesen, have opened up a couple seconds over this battle for 3rd.
And that traffic hurt Haley. It's going to open up the door for Jesse Little on the inside.
Well, you get out of the gas just a tick and it costs you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's that draft. You know, you use that momentum and you pull up. Look at the crossover move there. Can Haley make it work?
Yeah, Haley worked a number of laps to get by the 97 of Jesse Little. Did not want to give up that spot, but had to.
Haley's led 25 laps tonight. The most laps led Myatt Snyder. He was out front for 35.
Haley's going to go back around Little.
It's been a good night for Justin Haley. Started the playoffs, or started this race tonight 2 points outside the playoff cut line, but right now finds himself 11 to the good. Still a lot of racing left, 55 laps.
Kevin Bellacourt told Caitlin before the race, we're going to chase those stage points, and he has 18 of them in the 2 stages, 5 more than anybody else.
Look at the block there by Gilliland. Pulls over. Says, not so fast, Mr. Friesen.
Mentioned both these drivers still seeking their first win. Friesen's been runner-up 3 times this season, 4 all told in his Truck Series career. Gilliland, I think we really expected him to win and be one of those drivers in the playoffs this year, but he wasn't able to find victory lane. I'm not sure if the expectations were too high, but they've had some good runs, but just haven't, as it was reported earlier, as crew chief Marcus Richmond said, they just haven't finished the job.
They came within a corner of finishing it up in Canada, and he's been strong all year long. This kid will win races. I think it's evident by the way he performs.
Had a runner-up finish at Gateway earlier this year. That's his best. Remember, we have 54 laps to go. That means these guys are in their window. If the caution were to come out, they could come to pit road and make it to the end of the race. We know if the caution doesn't going to come out, it's going to necessitate green flag pit stops.
And you remember also 70 laps on those tires earlier of Myatt Snyder. He was able to go on those tires. So that means the crew chief's playbook is wide open. They can stop now and get tires. They can not get tires later in the race. Be interesting to see what the crew chiefs do.
Michael, the last time we talked about Myatt Snyder, he was winning a stage with the same tires he started the race on. He came down pit road, put 4 tires on. Now he's back in traffic, and guess what? He has no grip, and the front tires are chattering on this 13, will not turn. That is really a big-time testament to how important track position and clean air is in a place like Texas.
And Hermie, I just said it. The crew chief's playbook is going to be wide open. This team is going to have to use some strategy to get that track position, because when he was out front, he had a speedy truck. Now he's struggling.
Oh, Justin Haley threading the needle, getting inside of the 51 of Harrison Burton, and that is for 3rd. Boy, Haley just continues to pick him up, doesn't he?
Consistently a fast truck. As Jesse Little now is going to try to take over the 4th spot from Harrison Burton.
But Gilliland and Friesen out to a 4-second advantage over Haley in that 3rd spot. Harrison Burton in 4th. Caitlin.
Yeah, and it's an impressive showing so far for Harrison Burton. His first time here in a truck, first time on a 1.5-mile racetrack as well. And he has raced 5 races so far this season and has been solid in all of them. 2 top 5 performances and 4 top 10s as well. Just listening to the radio communication with his spotter telling him, keep hitting your marks, try and focus on getting into a good rhythm. Right now he's holding down that 5th spot. Vince?
Well, it's so important for Harrison Burton. I mean, he's just getting experience as a Truck Series driver. Run all the laps, and if you run them all in that equipment, you're going to have a pretty good night.
Without a doubt, just like Todd Gilliland is showing us right here with another one of the KBM trucks.
But, you know, that's easier said than done. These kids don't know the limits. They don't know the edge, and we see it all the time. I would rather a kid have a lot of speed and mess up a couple of times than just ride around. And we don't see these teenagers that show up and ready to go truck racing. They don't just ride around. Evident of Todd Gilliland leading the race. Harrison Burton and Jesse Little both running along in the top 5.
Friesen closing the gap on Todd Gilliland. He is right there.
How frustrating must that be, Vince, for Friesen? That's exactly the deficit he had when he came to the checkered flag here in the spring. Heating up Johnny Sauter. Now he's all over the back of Todd Gilliland.
Friesen just looking for an opportunity to get that nose up underneath the left rear of Gilliland.
And I want to tell both those two leaders, they better sort this out in a hurry, because Haley is a-coming.
He is a-coming, and we have about 15 laps probably before these two guys will have to make their way to pit road. Some of the others, like Justin Haley, can go another 10 laps beyond that.
It's just good that we've finally gotten a rhythm. It seems like for the first time tonight, I mean, this is our longest green flag stretch. We've gone about 25 laps under green. Things are starting to sort themselves out. We're starting to see who really has the truck that can pick up some spots and has the speed.
Don't jinx us, Vince.
That time by about a half a second faster was the third place running Justin Haley, closing in on our leaders, cutting that lead down to about 4 seconds now.
Going to take a break. They come back and catch some pit stops. The 18-year-old Todd Gilliland possibly staring at his first Truck Series win. Back at Texas, riding along in the Ford of Matt Crafton brings us to our Ford track facts. Go back to 1997. Rookie of the Year contenders finished 1, 2, 3. Kenny Irwin Jr., the Hoosier, with that win.
All driving Fords. Matter of fact, the top 5 were all driving Fords that day.
I remember where I was listening to the car radio, and we arrived somewhere, and I said, I can't get out of the car yet because it was the last few laps, and I wanted to hear if Kenny Irwin was going to win the race, and he did.
He held off the set head.
Yep. Right now, Todd Gilliland is holding off Stuart Friesen.
Well, good corner that time for Friesen.
Trying to anyway, as Friesen now takes a peek underneath, and this is the biggest challenge tonight.
Whoa, did he get loose?
Friesen finally squeezes by for the lead.
Gilliland laid on his door a bit there, Phil. That's a dangerous game to play, and you could see the result. That 52 truck wiggled, but Stuart Friesen, with his dirt tracking experience, just slid right on through there, didn't he?
Yeah, wiggle's nothing for him.
That wasn't a wiggle, Mike. Yeah. That was a bobble.
Said he was hoping that his wife was going to let him go run in the dirt on Saturday and Sunday. The dirt finals in Charlotte. Hopes to do that tomorrow. Look at this traffic back here. The 98 of Infinger, the 18 of Gregson, trying to make their way through. It's the 83 of Bailey Curry in that white truck. It navigated cleanly.
Infinger's rebounding, Vince. He was down outside the top 10, and he's just steadily pulling forward. It'll be interesting to watch these lap times now that Friesen's got out in front. The fastest truck on the track lately has been the 24 of Justin Haley. Now that there's clean air on the nose of the 52 truck, see if he can match those times, or if Grant Infinger can continue this charge to the front.
Guys, I think we're about 5 laps away from pit stops for Friesen and Todd Gilliland.
And this is a time this late in the race, Phil. You make a green flag pit stop, you cannot afford a mistake. You've got to be perfect as a driver getting on and off pit road, and your crew has to perform as well.
Remember, we talked about Stuart Friesen probably losing this race in June when he was slow getting to pit road and then stalled the truck on pit road.
I believe it's been a frustrating night for Matt Crafton. He's 7th, hasn't really been able to get up there and mix it up at the very front of the pack. And he's lost 7 points. Most significantly, he's lost 7 points in the playoff picture so far tonight.
And if this continues in this direction, Crafton will know one thing. He's got to go to ISM Raceway in Phoenix and win.
And he can, for sure.
Crafton, a 2-time winner here in Texas, but he just hasn't been up in the front tonight to be able to take a real good shot at it. But we've still got plenty of racing left here. 35 laps, 34 laps now remaining in this, and we still have another pit stop. Everybody's got to stop again, so we navigate the pit stop cleanly, and we know that can be an issue as well. The number of penalties we've seen and mistakes we've seen on pit road this season.
Mike, what are you thinking on this pit stop, this green flag pit stop? You thinking right side tires, 1 can of fuel? What are you thinking?
Well, if I'm Myatt Snyder, who we saw dominant early on those older tires, I might just put gas in it. I don't see what that will hurt, because he doesn't need a full can, 2 full cans of gas, so it'd be a quicker stop. Maybe 2 tires if they think that will take that long to get the fuel in it. But if I'm running outside the top 5 or 6, I'm going to use some strategy. 2 tires. I think they've worked well tonight. That's certainly something I would think about.
I think you can get 2 tires on in the time it will take you to dump in enough fuel to get to the end of the race.
But if you just do gas, it certainly eliminates the possibility of mistakes, and we need desperately a clean stop here as we race toward the end.
You saw Friesen put the 35 of Brennan Poole a lap down. That's the bottom left of your screen, the last lap that the guys came for pit stops. But regardless of what that number is, they all have to come again.
How about Friesen? Once he got in front of Todd Gilliland, he has steadily driven away. He has over a 2-second lead right now on Gilliland in second.
Yeah, a lot of speed in the 52 truck, and we figured that. Here he comes.
Here he comes.
Stuart Friesen coming to pit road. Oh, you don't want a speeding penalty. You don't want a mistake here.
I don't know. It looked like he was very fast when he came across the line.
Todd Gilliland has come as well. Hermie is there.
They must have been listening to Michael Waltrip that's talking about fuel only on the 52. So counting down the fuel, but no tires on the 52. The 4 is also on pit road, Caitlin.
Yeah, Todd Gilliland also electing to come down. The call was to do fuel only. You see a tear off there as well for the 4 truck.
Yeah, these guys know that Johnny Sauter one time did fuel only and parlayed that into a victory here at Texas.
I'm worried about Friesen if he was down to pit road speed. Hadn't heard a call from NASCAR, but that looked like he got in there way too hot. And you remember last
52 too fast entering penalty.
Yeah, it didn't look good from my vantage point. And you remember we talked about it, Phil. He was too slow a bit entering when we were here in June, cost him the win. And now he went the other way.
Yeah, now he's going to have a caution to try to overcome this, and I'm not sure he will be able to overcome this.
Well, we said you can't have a mistake here this late in the race and have a penalty. And the advantage we see right now, though, these guys that pitted on lap 71 versus some guys that pitted earlier, they even need less fuel. And if everybody else is getting no tires, they know they can come in, put less gas in because they won't have as far as to go.
That's a 15-mile difference, those 10 laps.
Heartbreak for Trip Bruce, the crew chief for Stuart Friesen, and here he is, Mike.
It wasn't anywhere close in that first segment. I don't know if he just didn't judge it properly, but not a chance that truck was going to get slowed down as fast as he came off the corner.
Costly mistake, and while Friesen makes that mistake, others are going to be coming to pit road, and they cannot afford, especially those playoff drivers, the guys that are still in the mix for a championship.
I would say probably 6-7 more laps for the guys that pitted on lap number 71, which right now everybody running up in the top 10 pitted on lap 71.
How about the night for Justin Haley? He's our race leader there in that black and yellow 24 truck. He came into this race 2 points outside the playoff cut line. Right now he is well positioned as Brett Moffitt, another championship contender, is in. Hermie?
It's fuel only, as you can see, but the 16 truck is too tight. They took some wedge out of the left rear, and he's gone.
See if that wedge adjustment makes the difference for Brett Moffitt.
The points as they run now are making me dizzy. These guys are all over the place, bumping up and below that cut line.
We have to let them all pit, Michael. Then we'll take another look at it.
We got to make sure they all make it on and off pit road safely.
And without mistakes.
You see the kind of night it's been for Justin Haley. He's been running up toward the front most of the night. He's led 32 laps this evening. 2-time winner this year, won for the very first time in his career at Gateway, and then won the playoff opener at Canada.
Crafton's up in the 3rd position. Our first 9 trucks, Phil, all pitted on lap 71. So they'll come together pretty much. You need to make sure you work with the other crew chiefs and spotters and make sure you don't try to get into your pit box when you're following a guy that's pitting in front of you. That could be an issue.
Here comes the leader, Haley.
Looked like he was plenty slow when he got to that first line. Here comes Matt Crafton. He looked a little hotter than Haley did getting to that line.
And you could see Crafton stopping almost during that section, trying to balance out the fact that he was hot getting in. Something's wrong.
He got an issue with Crafton right now.
Crafton struggles. We'll check with Caitlin with Justin Haley.
Bellacourt, the crew chief, telling them don't make any mistakes, don't slide the tires, don't speed. We're going to do a fuel only for the 24.
Crafton
for the 88 of Matt Crafton, they also wanted to go ahead and not do any adjustments and fuel only as well for him.
I think Matt Crafton may have been out of fuel when he got on the pit road.
Well, if that's the case, if his engine was off, he couldn't see his tack, which would have led to speeding. And like you said, Phil, that was a close call for Enfinger, trying to squeeze into his stall. Hermie.
No tires for the 98. Fuel only in a left rear wedge adjustment. Close call coming in and leaving pit road for the 98.
And the 16, is that Moffitt that he pulled out in front of?
Wow, had to go through the grass.
No, that's the
35 of Chastain.
Chastain, but still a craze. That's the
Brennan Poole in the 35.
Watch the near contact or maybe even contact between the 22 itself and the 98.
Oh, just a slight bump.
So that's the entrance. Now, after they do the fuel and the chassis adjustment, watch the exit for Enfinger.
Doesn't get any better, Vince. Gets sideways there, and there's Brendan Poole.
Heads up move by Brendan Poole to avoid him.
Yep.
After these pit stops, guys, Todd Gillen ends up with almost a 5-second lead over Justin Haley.
Myatt Snyder behind him, but Snyder's back one lap down in the 14th spot.
Snyder's falling from grace, hasn't he? What a great start to this race, and now a lap down. He'd love to see a caution flag right now and get back on the lead lap, have a chance to battle with them. We know how fast this truck is on those older tires.
Yeah, Myatt looks like he has a fast truck right here. He put 2 tires on in his pit stop. Todd Gillen went with fuel only.
Boy, he's lit this thing up, though, since that pit stop, hasn't he? They came early. They were the first of our leaders to hit pit road. And he's just driving away from the field.
Justin Haley is in second, but he's 4.5 seconds back. As Todd Gilliland makes his way through turn 4 and heading toward the line. Camping World 20 to go at Texas. 20 laps. Todd Gilliland trying to win for the first time in his young career.
We talk about how important it is to get on and off a pit road and for your pit crew to perform. Todd Gilliland gained 2 seconds on the field with his entry to pit road. His pit crew stopped and off. So he maximized his speed, and his pit crew did a great job, and that's why he's out in front.
As Gilliland continues to stretch his legs, less than 20 to go at Texas, taking a break and returning for the finish. Seeking his first career win in the Truck Series, Todd Gilliland is getting closer and closer, 13 laps away. Gilliland with a 3.5-second lead over Justin Haley.
And anytime you see that sparks from that left front corner, Vince, that's a good thing. That means that truck is turning, and he's able to nail it and pin it right to the bottom of the racetrack, as you can see him doing right there through 3 and 4. You want that left front scraping a little bit.
Justin Haley has been consistently a little bit faster than Todd Gilliland, but not fast enough to overcome this 3.5-second deficit he has. He's going to need a caution flag.
You saw just a moment ago the results recently for Todd Gilliland. It's been a frustrating season as you see his dad, David, looking on.
He's just looking for 12 green flag laps. He thinks his son...
Just calm green flag laps.
And I rarely see that happen, especially when you want it so badly. And this family has been all about racing. His dad, David's dad, raced, and David was successful in NASCAR, and now Todd as well.
Yeah, David's dad, Butch, was a Winston West champion back in the day. David was his crew chief for one of those championships.
Haley's had a fast truck throughout the course of the night, but he's not really gaining much ground on Gilliland, as Gilliland doesn't have any traffic in front of him, just clean track ahead. And Todd Gilliland is coming to the line, and there are 10 laps remaining here at Texas. There's the second place truck of Justin Haley.
But Vince, these lap trucks just really take your momentum away and cost you a lot of time and speed as they go through traffic. That lead just sort of swings back and forth.
How about not too long ago, Justin Haley was 11 points to the good. Now he's just 6 points to the good. I mean, this playoff battle is just fluctuating almost with each passing lap.
And the only one in real trouble going out west is Matt Crafton. He'll need a win possibly out there to make the playoff finale in Miami. But as close as Enfinger is, that's just a couple of stage points. Things could switch up in a hurry.
Noah Gregson in the 18 truck, and that's Stuart Friesen right behind. Friesen has had a good night tonight. He's led 12 laps. He's been running up toward the front, but right now Friesen finds himself in 11th.
Mistake on pit road, mistake getting to pit road, speeding getting to pit road. Remember, he made a pass-through penalty, and he only finds himself 19 seconds off the lead. What could have been?
Gregson 9 points to the good as they run right now, as you watch Harrison Burton, who's just outside the top 5 in that 51 truck. Burton sits 6th. Jesse Little right behind in 7th. Hey, for those of you tuning in for Pac-12 college football, it is coming your way next live here on FS1 just as soon as we're done here in Phoenix. And you see just 7 laps remaining here at Texas Motor Speedway. So hang on, Colorado and Arizona coming up.
Austin Hill able to make the pass on the 97 of Jesse Little. Move Austin Hill up into the 7th spot.
I think this is a career night for Hill. He's had top 10 finishes, but this is the most pace, the most time spent up in the top 5, and now he's making a move late around Little and driving away.
All those trucks right there battling for position.
Matt Crafton in that neon yellow needs every single spot because he's 6th out of 6 playoff contenders. He's 20 points out of the next round of the playoffs with just one more race after this one.
I'm like you, Michael. I think he's almost in a position now that he's going to have to win. Even if he gets 1 or 2 more positions here, he's still going to be too far out when we get to Phoenix.
Another great job by Jesse Little in that number 97 truck. Shows up infrequently and runs frequently inside the top 10.
I'm with you, Michael, though. Those two, Austin Hill in 7th, which would be a career best finish for him, and Jesse Little in 8th. I mean, those two guys, you know, sometimes we focus so much on the championship contenders, and understandably, because that's what the season is about, but there are so many other agendas and so many other victories throughout the field, not just the guy that ends up going to victory lane.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Jesse Little, if he can maintain this, another strong top 10 run, that's going to be a great day for them. And Austin Hill, what a super day for him, a career day for him, Michael, as you said.
Gregson and Friesen continuing to battle for 10th. Gregson gets the spot.
Another point for Gregson. If he can hold on to that spot, maybe even go a little bit farther.
Just 4 laps remaining. Todd Gilliland leads by 2.5 seconds. Watching some of the other battles back in the pack while Gilliland stretches it out.
Actually, Haley's been able to cut into that lead. He's got it down under 3 seconds. It's been up around 4 somewhat.
There's Gilliland going around Sheldon Creed, who ran up front early tonight before some wall contact.
Coming to 2 to go.
That's Todd Gilliland just pacing his way to the checker flag. You know he's got enough cushion without a caution that he's going to be able to coast to victory lane.
2 laps remaining, 3 miles left for Todd Gilliland. And Justin Haley is now closing it down to almost 2 seconds. So he's cutting into that deficit just a little bit. Nobody between Haley and Gilliland now. Under 2 seconds gap.
He can see him up there. That's when you really want it so bad. You can taste it. You know the victory is just right up ahead of you. But there's not enough time to get there unless there's a mistake by Gilliland.
Todd Gilliland just wants to make sure that, as Mike said, no mistakes. 1 lap left. The final lap for Todd Gilliland at Texas. He missed 4 races early this season while he waited to turn 18, but still expected that maybe he would be able to make the playoffs. He's got a problem. I think he's got a problem. Gilliland is going to stop, and
It's going to be the 24 of Haley. For the second time in the playoffs, the leaders with a problem. Just like in Canada, Justin Haley's going to benefit and win at Texas. Unbelievable.
The motor just sounded like it went solid, or he ran out of fuel. There he is, coasting right there, trying to get to the start-finish line.
Remember, he was the first driver to pit on those last pit stops. He came to pit road before the rest.
Absolute heartbreak for Todd Gilliland.
Similar situation here for Enfinger, possibly.
I thought it was going to be pretty close for these guys when they just took one can of fuel on that last pit stop. Todd Gilliland needed just about a absolute heartbreak. That's 2 times he's had it on the last lap. No, it's frustrating for that young man, but Justin Haley again in the right place to take advantage of others' misfortune and win in the playoffs. But just like in Canada, he was in the right spot at the right time, and we think maybe all night long Justin Haley had the fastest truck. And when Gilliland faltered at the end.
And guess who locks himself into the championship race?
GMS has 2 drivers that will go to Homestead, Miami for a shot at the championship. Johnny Sauter and that young man, the teenager, Justin Haley. While Todd Gilliland just can't believe it. He's with Caitlin.
Yeah, obviously a lot of frustration here for Todd Gilliland, but are there any positives that you can take away from this race here today for you?
Absolutely. We tried a little bit different package, and I feel like it was 100% better than what we had. So we're in position to win that race. It sucks. It's horrible, but no, nothing we can do. Marcus made great calls all day, got us in that position to win, and that's all you can do is do that. We're half lap away, so it happens, and it sucks, but you know, I made a mistake earlier, and we were just a touch short on fuel, so and that's all you can do.
Thank you.
32 laps on that last fuel run and a half lap short.
That's one proud father there, because that young man was frustrated, wanting to just raise all kinds of cane, got his act together, gave us a great interview, and showed the passion and the heart and the desire he has to be a winner. So close a couple of times and just could taste that victory. Came off turn 2, and I'm sure he just couldn't believe when that engine stumbled.
Just makes you feel for him. That young man is such a great effort he put out there tonight.
Well, they're smiling in the GMS camp. Johnny Sauter and Justin Haley have won the first 2 races here in the round of 6 and will go to ISM Raceway in Phoenix knowing they are going to the final race and a shot at winning the championship.
I guess all of GMS is going to sleep well for the next couple of weeks, aren't they?
Brett Moffitt and Noah Gregson are saying there's no more GMS trucks in the playoffs, are there? We don't need any more of that. And there aren't. It's down to Thorsport versus Shigetori's team for Moffitt and Kyle Busch's team for Gregson.
Justin Haley in victory lane. Unbelievable. Woo. Let's go. When you win in dramatic fashion. You, my friend, are going to Homestead to race for a championship. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that was amazing. Everyone at GMS Fabrication gave me a great truck. Thought we had it lost there. Didn't quite maximize my pit road, and God stuck with me, kept my faith behind me, and just got to give it to everyone at Fraternal Order of Eagles for giving me this opportunity. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and to get 2 Chevrolets, me and Johnny, back-to-back to Miami, that's what we want, and we're going to have a 50% chance out of winning it.
You guys were fast all night long, and it looked like you were going to come up 1 spot short. How frustrating was that, those last 10, 15 laps, knowing you were closing the gap, but without something happening, you were going to be in second place?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, Canada and here with 2 luck wins. You just can't give up faith. You know, you bring great trucks to the racetrack, and that's all you can do. So the cards fell in our hand today, and I just can't thank everyone enough. Got to say hi to my mom and my dad, everyone at home. It's a family operation, so I'm really thankful and glad God stuck with me.
Justin Haley joins Johnny Sauter locked in for the championship battle at Homestead.
Sauter, 40 years old. His teammate Justin Haley, 19, the teenager. Justin Haley is going to go to Homestead, Miami for a shot at a Truck Series championship as he collects his 3rd win of the season. Both coming at the expense of Todd Gilliland, who was the leader on the last lap before Haley was able to take advantage. Well, next week from ISM in Phoenix, practice on Friday begins early, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Final practice at noon, and then qualifying here on FS1 at 5:30 Eastern, and then the race next Friday night. For Hermie Sadler, Caitlin Vinci, Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Vince Welch. What a night in Texas. It's always bigger in Texas, and it doesn't get any bigger than this result for Justin Haley, who will race for the championship at Homestead, Miami. Haley wins for the 3rd time this season. Coming up next, college football. Here's Brian Custer.